All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Facebook, YouTube, it is your main man, H. Cortez, one and only financial health mentor to the working class. Forgive me for not being prepared for you this morning. I didn't have my devices charged up. It plays my intro music, but here we are live anyway. If you're checking us out on Facebook, then I want you to do me a huge favor, share this stream on your timelines. And then let's be ready to participate, man. If you got questions about anything business related, wealth, finance, money related, credit, whatever, if I know the answer, I will give it to you. If I don't know the answer, I'll take that question, I will research it and put it back in circulation for next Friday's Free Game Friday and make sure I get a question to you. But even while I'm doing that, if I come across the answer during the week, I will message you that answer directly and still answer it live on air. So just as we do every morning, I've got to let you know who this show is for. Just in case you stumbled up on this show on accident, this show is for the risers and grinders, the real go-getters. If you rolled out of bed this morning with plans to put your feet on the floor and start running, this show is for you. If you're like that ancient African proverb that says, every morning a gazelle gets up and has to run, and no, it doesn't have to be the fastest gazelle in the pack. It just has to not be the slowest, right? Every morning, a lion also gets up and knows that it has to run. And no, it doesn't have to be the fastest lion in the pride. It knows it only has to be faster than the slowest gazelle, and it's going to eat. If that's your thought process, this show is for you. If you woke up with legacy on your brain, thinking about what you're going to do today to make sure your children's children's children are going to be proud to bear your name, this show, my friend, is for you. If, on the other hand, let's talk about who the show is not for, right? If you're one of those types of people who got that weird relationship with money, think capitalism is evil, money is bad, and you think there's a problem with making money off people, then you, my friend, have tuned into the wrong show. This show is not for you. If you're sitting back waiting on Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton to fix the economy instead of focusing on your economy, this show ain't for you. If you have a problem with me just saying the word money 12 times in the last 10 seconds, this show ain't for you, man, because I can promise you this. I'm probably going to say money, wealth, legacy, or something to that effect another 300 times in the next 25, 30 minutes or so. So if you stumble upon this show on accident, you want to be careful, because the people who listen to this show are constantly attracting money to them because we have a right relationship with money. And if you don't want to attract money to you, you can tune out now, because this show is not going to be for you. Now, let's be clear. I do not have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. That's your prerogative. Some people are content and complacent with where they are, and that's okay. Maybe that works for you. I'm just not satisfied with where I am. So if you want to be content, that's cool. I only have a problem with you if you have a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. I tell you each and every morning, if you have never seen a future billionaire before, I want you to take a screenshot, because you're looking at one. I want you to hold me accountable to that and watch me work in the next 10 to 15 years. Guarantee you. Hit me up so we can reschedule and work out the tech issues. Definitely, Erica. If you guys don't know, Erica Patmore, we were scheduled to have her on the show last week. She's an expert in gold and understanding how to use gold to buffer yourself against inflation. So I've got to get with her and get her rescheduled onto the show. Today's show is brought to you by National Credit Educational Services. If you are in need of credit restoration because you understand now, as you've matured in life, the importance of credit, not personally, but more so business-wise, so you can leverage credit to buy income-producing assets, and maybe you made some mistakes in your past and you want to restore that credit, National Credit Educational Services can get that done for you. The cool thing about them is, yes, you'll pay a fee of $350 for them to do the work for you, but they're going to educate you along the way so you know how to keep that credit where it needs to be going forward. And then guess what? You can come back to me and say, H. Cortez, I got that credit score up to 720, 750, 760. How can I leverage it now to start building income producing assets? And I'll give you the game plan on how you can actually do that. So again, National Credit Educational Services. If you're in need of credit restoration, shoot me an inbox. I'll give you the link to National Credit Educational Services so you can partner with them, get that credit restored, and then we can partner, and I'll tell you how you can leverage that credit and go from where you are right now and literally put yourself on a path of 6-figure, 7-figure, even 8 figures based on leveraging credit to build wealth. So today is recap. Friday recap, otherwise known as Free Game Friday. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat on Facebook. If you're on YouTube and you have questions, go ahead and jump over to Facebook where I can see your questions in the live feed on my profile, Cortez Springer, and you can type your questions and we will answer any questions that you have. Doesn't matter what those questions are. Not to pat myself on the back, but I'm versed in a lot of different subjects and subject matters, and I actually take action on a lot of the stuff that I teach. So it's not like I'm telling you something that I have not done before or that I am not currently doing. So any questions, guys, type them in the chat. We're going to go over our recap really quickly, starting with yesterday's show. Yesterday's show was all about your E to E ratio. If you don't know what your E to E ratio is, or if you don't even know what that is, it's simply this. It's your education to entertainment ratio. And it is literally the difference between winners and losers. Your education to entertainment ratio is the difference between winners and losers. Losers are spending more money on entertainment and spending more time on being entertained than they are educating themselves. It's a sad statistic, but somewhere around 70 or 80% of people who have gone through the public school system have never read or picked up another book since graduating from high school or college. Sad. Some people are going to more sporting events than they are seminars. Some people are going to more concerts than training and educational platforms. Some people are spending $70 a month on cable to entertain themselves, but they're not spending anything on books and educational materials to grow their knowledge. So what you have to do is you have to flip that E to E ratio where it is at the least a 1-to-1 ratio. Spend an hour on entertainment, spend an hour educating yourself or doing something with the education, because we also laid out the 4 things that you should be doing in your 6 to 10. What is your 6 to 10? Those are the hours that you have free outside of work, right? So your work is taking care of your today's lifestyle. Your 6 to 10 will take care of your freedom lifestyle. If you want financial freedom, you're going to have to earn that outside of your regular job, right? Because we know most jobs, we're in an employer's market. What that means is the jobs are so few that employers can really suppress wages and people will still be hungry for those jobs. So that means you will barely make enough to pay your bills. So you have to do something with that 6 to 10, those hours outside of work, that's going to put you on the path to your own financial freedom. So you got to, so what are you doing in your 6 to 10? You're practicing your craft, whatever that is. If you are a fitness trainer, then you're practicing, you're studying your fitness training, your exercise regimen, all the things that you need to be an excellent fitness trainer. Then you're going to read more. You're studying more about your craft. And then you're going to do something with what you're learning. You're going to take action based on what you're reading. And then you're going to learn how to start networking with other people who are either on the same path as you or have those supplemental services that can enhance what you're doing. Got to spend time networking. Your net worth is equal to your network is equal to your net worth. If you're broke, chances are you're networking with broke people. That's what that means. If you're broke, chances are you're networking with broke people. So if you got a question, this is Free Game Fridays. I'm going to get to your questions, but I want to do a recap of the shows that we had this week. So we talked about your E to E ratio on yesterday. On Wednesday, it was all about seed time and harvest. Guys, you have to, there's 5 P's that you're going to need in your life if you're going to have success. The number 1 P you have to get rid of, get it out of your life. You have to stop procrastinating, so cotton picking much. Stop procrastinating and take action. Then you have to have perseverance. You have to have persistence. You're going to have to give yourself, you're going to have patience, right? When we talked about seed time and harvest, it's about patience, right? You're going to take some action in your business or for your freedom or for your grind. But guess what? That action that you take doesn't yield right away. It's like putting a seed in the ground. There's seed, and then time goes by, then there's the harvest. So when you take those actions in your business today, stop looking for the result today. Stop looking for the result today. Sow that seed and then understand what you have to do during the time phase. That means you have to nurture that seed. That means you have to pull the weeds up. That means you have to put a fence around that thing so the rabbits and the squirrels and the dream snatchers, right, don't come pluck that thing up as it starts to sprout off the ground. And then once you nurture it and feed it and fertilize that thing, then it's going to produce a harvest for you, right? Stop looking for results every day. When you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, seed, time, then harvest. What is the time? How much time, H. Cortez? Depends on the seed that you're planting. There are things called annuals. That means those are plants that I have to plant every season. There are things called perennials. Those things I plant one time and they grow into trees or they grow into bushes or shrubs, and all I have to do is maintain them once they grow. Depends on the seed. If you plant an annual, then that thing is going to produce in about 90 days. You're going to reap your harvest, but guess what? You're going to have to sow that seed again in the next season. If you plant perennials, then you plant one time and then you just maintain those things that you plant one time. What's up, Andre? You plant those things one time. So it's seed, time, and harvest. Stop looking for your harvest the same day you plant your seed. That ain't how it goes. And that's what we're doing in business. We take a little action in business and we're looking for a harvest the next day. We don't see that harvest and we quit. This is not a job. You don't work this week and get paid next week in business. You work this week and you work next week and you work the week after that, and you keep working and you're not even looking for a harvest. But guess what? The day will come when your past will catch up with you. Question is that going to be a good thing or is that going to be a bad thing? It's up to you. It depends on the type of seeds that you're sowing. And the main seeds that you sow daily are the words that come out of your mouth. Right? India Ari said it best. The words come out of your mouth, you're the first to hear. So you better be cautious of the words that you speak to other people because you hear them first. So if you're constantly degrading and putting other people down, you hear that first. That seed gets sown in your mind first because it's a thought first. Then it comes out of your mouth and into your ears as it's coming out of your mouth and into the other person's ears. So you better be careful. Seed, time, and harvest was what we did on Wednesday. On Tuesday, we did these three words, right? You remember the Stevie Wonder jam? These three words. Okay, I'm not going to go there. But these three words are literally killing your success if they are part of your vocabulary. Now, you can use these three words independently, but don't ever, 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 ever string these three words together again. And what are they? I already know. These three words are killing your success. I already know. If that's the attitude that you have, then chances are you're in the same place today as you was 5 years ago. Because if you already know everything, then you're not opening yourself up to receive new information. And if new information is not coming in, you're not growing. Takes a new input to get a new output. So these three words, I already know. Do not ever, ever, ever string those three words in a phrase again for the rest of your life. Because even that which you think you know, someone can deliver it to you in a different way and cause other light bulbs to go on in your head. Everybody getting that? These three words, that's what we talked about on Tuesday, right? Don't let those three words, man, keep you from growing. Don't let those three words keep you from receiving new information. new revelations. That rhema word, man, could be right there in your face, but you're shut down thinking, oh, here come this dude finna tell me something I already know. And you're preventing yourself from getting the word or the blessing that you need to move you from glory to glory. Take that phrase out of your vocabulary. I already know. It's killing you. It's killing your success. If you want a different output, it starts with a different input, but you will never receive that input if you're walking around thinking, I already know. I'm going to give you an example. I want you to think back. I don't want you to type nobody's name or say nobody's name, but think to the people that you know in your life right now who are in the exact same place today as they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, right? What are those people constantly saying every time you try to tell them something? Yeah, I know that, man. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. If they knew, they really knew, they'd take action on it. And they wouldn't be stuck in the same place today as they were 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And then Monday's show, I have to apologize for, guys. I had a long weekend, so I did not get my butt up out of bed and do a live show for you on Monday. So I do apologize, but I did throw out the replay. And if you didn't watch that, I want you to go back and check out some of the stuff in the archives, man. I did the portrait of a millionaire probably in one of my first 10 episodes. And the portrait of a millionaire will blow your mind, because what we see as a millionaire or somebody with wealth on TV is all an illusion, guys. That's an illusion to keep you from wealth. I'm gonna say it again. What we traditionally see on TV and in the media as somebody who has wealth is an illusion that is keeping you from wealth, because that is not the picture of a true wealthy person. We talked about the fact that wealthy people never spend $1,000 on a suit. Guess who do? The people who work for them, who, by the way, are not wealthy. Wealthy people never spend $1,000 on a watch. They're not the people who own Rolexes and stuff like that, right? But who do? The people who work for them, the people who are trying to impress them. But that's the very reason they don't have wealth themselves, is because they spend a lot of percentage of their time trying to impress people with what they look, with how they look. Wealthy people don't drive the foreign luxury cars. Who do? The people who work for them. The financial planners, attorneys, and CPAs and stuff like that who work for wealthy people, they tend to more often drive the foreign luxury cars than the true wealthy people, right? They tend to do that more than the true wealthy people, and they're working for wealthy people. Now, they have 6 and sometimes 7-figure salaries, but they don't have the 6 and 7-figure net worth. Meaning when they stop working, their income goes away. True wealthy people, on the other hand, may have a high 5-figure salary and maybe a low 6-figure salary or income, but they have the 7-figure net worth because of what they did with that income. They use it to acquire income producing assets. What do wealthy the people who work for wealthy people do? They take their income, even if it's high 6 figures, 7 figures, and they buy junk to impress people with. So they have a less than 7-figure net worth. A lot of times those people don't even have a $500,000 net worth, because they have more expenses than they actually have income. See, income is measured in dollars, wealth is measured in time. I used to think, I'll give you this last point until I read The Millionaire Next Door. I used to think you needed an emergency fund to, all wealthy people had an emergency fund. Well, that's not true. Wealthy people have a go to hell fund. What is a go to hell fund? That means they can literally tell this world to kiss off. or go to hell and they be all right for 20 years living off the income that comes from their assets. That's different than the emergency fund. Emergency fund will take you 6, 12, 18 months. Go to hell fund, they've got enough income and assets that will pay them and keep them straight for 15, 20 years if they told the entire world to go to hell. What your go to hell fund looking like this morning, right? Where are the archives? You have to go to my YouTube channel, Sandra. YouTube channel, which is also by the name Financial Health Mentor. You go to my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, today we celebrate episode 50, guys. This is the 50th episode of Talking Money in the Morning Live. So if you go to the YouTube channel, you see all of those, all 50 of those episodes on my YouTube channel, Financial Health Mentor. All right, so let's get into some of your questions. I had some questions earlier, so I'm gonna start back from the beginning and see what we got. Let's see. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. A bunch of good mornings. Let's see. Needing words of motivation. My feet are continuously stalling. If your feet are continuously stalling, William, chances are you're hanging around the wrong people. Now, I don't know you, I don't know your situation, but when you get stagnant feet, a lot of times it's because you're hanging around the wrong people, man. You're hanging around the wrong people. There's nobody who runs in my circle with stagnant feet, because we're constantly motivating and picking each other up, encouraging each other, and we're constantly moving ourselves. So when you hang around people like us, what you're seeing is constant growth and evolution in the people around you. And by nature, we are competitive. By nature, we are competitive, right? Because in the jungle, if you don't compete, you don't eat. So either you have to lead a team or be part of a team. So you have to understand how to compete. So chances are you're not hanging around the right people who are constantly growing, stretching themselves, which will cause you to want to keep up. And by default, you start growing and stretching yourself. That's why the saying goes, your network equals your net worth. If you're hanging with broke people, chances are you're broke. If you're hanging with people who are aspiring to greater things, chances are you're going to pick up on some of the crumbs that they are leaving behind. Chances are you're going to be able to ride some of the waves of their wake alone. And if you keep doing that, eventually you will catch up and start riding the waves alongside of them. So if you're stagnant, look at the circle that's around you, bro. Are they motivating? Are they encouraging? Are they uplifting? Are they trying to help you or at least support you in achieving your goals? If they are not, you need to get away from around those people, man. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Right? If that's where you are, you're stagnant, then you need a new circle of friends. I keep telling everybody on this live stream, partner with me and my Financial Success membership, and I will plug you into a group of people who are so dynamically awesome that you can't help but win, man. My Financial Success membership is $120 to start, $35 a month. You'll be on a team of true wealth builders, man. And I promise you this, we will not let you fail, bro. We will not let you have stagnant feet, bro. So look at the circle that is around you, man. And that's an indication, an indicator of why you are stagnant or seem to be complacent or stuck in the same place. Also, what books are you reading and what places are you going, right? We are who we are because of 3 reasons: the books we read, the places we go, and the people we associate with. If you are not moving, it's because you're not reading books that move you. You're not going to places that will inspire you to move, and you're not hanging around people that will encourage you and help you move. All right, hope that answers your question, bro. Let's see. Washington, what's up, bro? Diane, good morning. You don't know anything until you have the results you seeking. Yep, I agree, Kent. Where are the archives? I think I mentioned that. Go to YouTube, Financial Health Mentor on YouTube. Different stages of wealth, my friend. But yes, I agree with you that people that cannot afford it do waste their money. Financial freedom is being able to buy things you love and enjoy. Financial freedom is different from financial security and financial independence. Great book, The Millionaire Next Door. Yeah, different levels. So when we're talking about those who are the picture of the typical millionaire, right? So we're talking about those people who are seven-figure net worth to decamillionaires, right? Those people aren't the people who are out really spending the money that they can't afford to spend, right? Because what those people are saying is that, yes, I can afford to spend $100,000 on a foreign luxury car, but every time they think about spending $100,000 on a foreign luxury car, they start thinking about, damn, but what can I do with this $100,000 as an investment, and how much of a return can I get on that? So instead, I'd rather drive my Toyota, my Honda, put this $100,000 over into an investment and just keep my money working for me. But you're right, there are some super wealthy who will splurge on those things, because just like Robert Kiyosaki in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about he will buy a Porsche or he will drive a Porsche, but he doesn't buy a Porsche with his labor. He goes and buys an asset first, then the income from that asset will pay for the Porsche. Different mentality. And that's what we've got to develop. See, we want to take the money that we earn on our job and pay a $700 car note for a luxury vehicle. Different mentality. Got to start acquiring income producing assets. And when the income from those assets come in, then you can start using that income to buy your toys. Great comment. Appreciate that, Kent. Financial Health Mentor on YouTube. Health. H-E-A-L-T-H. Health. Financial Health Mentor on YouTube, Sandra. Morning, D. Cedric Jenkins, I see you, bro. Brian, morning. We just had that conversation with our team yesterday. I mean, that's what it is, Cedric, man. Is we got to constantly keep educating, and then some people will get it and some people won't. But the more we educate, the more people will get it, and you just start congregating with those people who do get it, and you guys just keep moving forward, man, pressing towards the mark. Appreciate you tuning in this morning, bro. Sometimes the people you wake up with, they just don't understand where you're trying to go and get. We talked about the power of association in one of my first episodes, D. You're absolutely right. It's 5 critical steps to building wealth, guys. Step number 1, you first have to define what wealth means to you. You have to define it, or else how can you hit a picture of something that you, how can you hit something that you don't have a clear picture of? Once you define what wealth means to you, you have to actually decide to be wealthy. You have to make that decision. Decide to be wealthy, right? Because once you make that decision, then the universe is going to start moving both with you and against you. You say, well, that's contradictory. Yes, the universe is going to start making way for you to be wealthy, but the universe is also going to start opposing, testing you to see if you really want that thing. Because everything has to go through trial and error. You have to be tried and tested. So just like some doors are going to start opening up to you when you decide to be wealthy, some people are going to get in your way. Some obstacles are going to be there. So you're going to have to overcome those things. Right? So you decide to be wealthy. Once you decide to be wealthy, then you have to draw out a plan, right? You have to draw out a plan that's going to get you there. Sometimes that plan requires you to add an additional vehicle or get into a different vehicle all the time. I use this analogy when it comes to building wealth all the time, is that our job is a good vehicle, but it can only take us so far. See, I can get into a Pinto and a Ferrari, and both that Pinto and that Ferrari can take me to California if that's my destination. Everybody agree? I can get into a Pinto and a Ferrari, and both will take me to California if that's my destination. But if my destination is Hawaii, neither one of those vehicles can get me there. So if your destination is wealth, you have to understand if do an assessment of the vehicle that you're in and assess whether or not that vehicle can get you where you want to be. Can that vehicle get you to your destination? And then if so, you have to ask yourself, can it get you to your destination when you want to get there? Right? Because a job can get you to wealth. If you are fortunate enough to understand how money works in this country, you can use a job over the course of a 40-year career and you can build wealth long term if you trust that you're actually going to stay on that job for 40 years. I just don't trust that companies are letting you stay around that long. I don't trust that. So I'm grinding on my own in parallel to my job. So if something does happen to my job, I have something building in addition to, right? So you have to draw out a plan, assess the vehicle that you're in and see if that vehicle can get you there. Then step number 4, critical step number 4, once you draw out a plan, you have to exercise discipline and determination to execute the plan. A plan ain't nothing without execution. A blueprint will lay on the table all day, every day until somebody picks that blueprint up, reads and understands it, and say, okay, here's what we dig over here. We got to put this part of the foundation over here. We got to do this. So you got a blueprint. You got to have the gall to execute that thing, man. And then critical step number 5D, what you were talking about, is you have to disassociate yourself with people who will not help you or support you in building your dreams. And yes, sometimes that is the person that is laying next to you every day. Sometimes that is the person that brought you into this world. Sometimes that is the person that you've been running with for 15, 20, 30 years. You have to disassociate yourself with people who are not going to help you or support you in your journey to get where you're trying to go. Makes sense? Questions. Free game Friday. We got another 10 or 15 minutes, guys, and then I've got to jump out of here. My job did not keep me that long. Thank God for the parallel. Yeah, guys, I want you to understand something. A business is somebody else's asset, right? We're talking about building wealth now. A business is somebody else's assets. Right? A business is part of a singular asset class. What you have to understand that somebody owns that business, and the owners of that business are at all times constantly assessing the assets and liabilities of that business. As an employee, I don't give a damn how good you do your job. The nature of an employee, you are always a liability on that company's balance sheet. I'm gonna say it again. The nature of being an employee, you are always a liability on that company's balance sheet. And whenever that company wants to increase profits, increase revenue, increase shares, the first thing and the easiest and most effective and efficient thing for them to do is to trim those liabilities. And that will be you, my friend. But you got to understand that. Become a leader of those who don't understand. Yes, definitely, Clarice. So understand, when you have your job, just know where you are in relationship to that job. You are in the liability side of that company's balance sheet. So there's nothing wrong with that. And some companies keep their liabilities around 40 years. Some keep them around 20 years. Some keep them around 5 years. You just have to understand where you are on the company's balance sheet. And because I don't know how long I have with that company, then I'm working double time. I'm burning the candle at both ends to set up a foundation for myself in parallel to my job. So if that thing ends, I'm okay. I'm okay. I work in the corporate world and they cared totally about yeah. And they look for employees who are going to care more about the company than their own financial and physical wherewithal. What am I saying? They look for employees that will work harder for them than they will for their own families. right? They look for people who will put in the extra time for them and not put in any time for their own dreams and goals. That's just how it works, man. And even those people are not guaranteed, because again, I don't give a damn how hard you work, you are still a liability on your company's balance sheet, right? So just understand that any questions, our financial future has become our personal responsibility. And truly, Brian, it really always has been, but a job played a better role in helping us get there. It always has been our responsibility, but a job used to be a more instrumental piece in getting us there. Now, not so much, man. A publicly traded company has one fiscal responsibility by law, and that's to increase the profits of its shareholders. Fastest way to increase profits is to lay a bunch of people off. What do you think about the bonded letter from the government? I just was recently bonded because of my background. How does this help my chances? I'm not familiar with the bonded letter from the government, so I'm not, you know, I can't answer that. I'll have to do some research, man, and circle back to you next week. Maybe you can share some insight, man. Maybe we can talk offline about what that actually means, a bonded letter from the government. How do you find the time to parallel your time and talent? Clarissa, you skipped out on me yesterday. You skipped out on me yesterday. We did yesterday's show was your E to E ratio, your education to entertainment ratio, and we talked about just that. Most people can't find the time to build their dreams in parallel because they're giving all of their time to entertainment. Now, I'm not saying there's something wrong with entertainment. I'm just saying that when you get off work, you have your 9 to 5, and then you have your 6 to 12. What are you doing with your 6 to 12? Now, trust me, I get it. I was raised by a single mom. I know what it's like for single mothers, single fathers, even married couples. My wife and I are married going on 20 years, but it's, you know, it's difficult because you work so cotton picking hard, man, on the job sometimes. Sometimes we have to take jobs that stress us to the nth degree that when we cut off that thing, the only thing we can think about is unwinding. And we tend to get in unwind mode, and unwind mode can last from 6 to 10, and then it's time to go to bed. So I do two things, Clarissa, in my parallel. You guys are witnessing it right now. I put in about 2 hours before work every morning, and then I put in about 4 hours after work every evening. And believe it or not, that still leaves me time for my family. That still leaves me time to watch about 15 to 20 minutes of whatever my wife has recorded, because that's kind of our thing. You know, she loves to stream TV. So when we wind down for the night, whatever she's got recorded, she said, hey, let's get into this program. And we call ourselves binging, but we binge for all of about 15 minutes because we're grinding in our jobs and our parallel businesses. So we don't really have the energy to stay up and watch 3, 4, 5 hours of TV. So the education to entertainment ratio is how you have to manage your time. So if you're gonna spend an hour entertaining yourself every night, put an hour into your parallel thing. We talked about 4 things that you should be doing every night, but in your 6 to 10 or your 6 to 12, you should be practicing your craft. My craft is financial education. My craft is online marketing, branding. That's my craft. So every day I'm practicing that craft every day. You should be reading more about your craft, how to become better at it. You should be doing something with what you're learning about your craft. Every day I do this show, I learn, do, teach. I'm bringing this to you guys every day. I'm strategizing with business partners and things of that nature. Then you should be networking every day. You should be meeting new people in the field that you're in, or people who have parallel products that support, and you guys can create strategic partnerships with, because your network equals your net worth. So those are 4 things that you should be doing, and then you repeat those 4 things every day. Every day. Now, you may not be able to devote 6 hours to it every day like I do, but if you've got a 90-minute block, then take 15 minutes and read. Take 15 minutes to jump online and see who you can network with. Take 15 minutes and take some action steps. Well, let me take that back. Take 15 minutes and take some income producing action steps towards your business, right? Because there's a difference between action and income producing action. If you don't know what the income producing actions are for your business, you need to figure that thing out. Chances are you're spending a lot of time doing stuff that won't bring any income in your business. So you have to be involved in income producing actions. And then you practice your craft every day. I used to burn the midnight oil. Now I have all my time for my personal economy. Just want to encourage others that it works. Yes, do something with your 6 to 10. We're not saying that you're going to have to do that for 40 years. I mean, your 6 to midnight. You're not going to have to do that for 40 years because eventually you're going to get good enough, guys. You're going to get good enough to where you're going to be able to feed and sustain your family with your parallel, and you can let the job go. Or maybe you can let the full-time job go because you need consistent pay and scale down to a part-time job, which gives you more time for your parallel. Right? More time for your parallel. It was a time where both me and my wife had to work full-time just to feed our children. Now she's able to scale back part-time. Right? She just went through a stretch of, from last December, she was laid off, all the way up until 3 weeks ago, she didn't have to have a job. Now, things wasn't all peaches and cream, but we were okay without her having to have a job. Right? And then she said, you know what? I got some goals that I want to accomplish. A little extra money will help. So I'm going to get a part-time job. And that's what she did. But even if she didn't have the part-time job, we'd be okay because of our parallel hustle. Because of our 6 to midnight. Guys, what does your 6 to midnight look like? What does your 6 to midnight look like? Are you coming home after work, putting your feet up and you vegging out on the couch or the lazy boy recliner? Why do you think it's called lazy boy? Because that's what it's transforming you into. I'm not saying you don't deserve to unwind, right? But I'm saying this. If you work a job that is stressing you that much that it requires you 6 hours to unwind, you better do something different, man, because that thing is killing you. If you're working a job that it takes 6 hours for you to unwind, you better look at doing something else, man. That thing is literally killing you. I mean, literally killing you. If it's bringing that much stress into your life, you can't be a healthy person. You can't have healthy relationships if it requires 6 hours for you to unwind. And some people are on jobs like that, man. That's why you got to get a parallel grind. Because now I skip into work because I know at any day, if I decided to walk away from that thing, I'm all right. See, now I have the upper hand. See, early on, they had the upper hand, and whatever they told me to do, I would jump and do it because if I lost that job, I couldn't feed my family because I didn't have a parallel grind. I was scared to step out on faith and do my own thing. But now I have that parallel grind. Now I'm in a different relationship with that job. That job is in proper perspective, right? Got to get your job in proper perspective. Some of you guys have bosses, man, call you all times of the night and interrupt family time and all that stuff, man. That's crazy. But I understand because I was there. That's why I'm encouraging you. Get a parallel grind, man. Get a parallel grind. Josiah, that is so me right now. Josiah, you need my financial success membership, bro. I'm going to help you put $500 to $1,000 back into your household in the first 30 days, right? Just on using strategies. And then we're going to set you up with your own parallel grind, man, where I show you how you can put in an hour to 90 minutes a night doing something effectively. And then that's going to grow that income in parallel to your job, man. And I promise you, just having the peace of mind that you know I got something that's working in my life, that's going to relieve some of that pressure that you're going through on your job, man. So inbox me, man, so we can talk. But you got to get a parallel grind, man. That's what's going to stabilize you when you're under that kind of stress and that kind of pressure, man. Start figuring out what you can do. We've all been blessed by God with gifts, talents, special abilities, guys. I put a video up on my page yesterday. If you didn't see the Steve Harvey video, it's powerful. The Steve Harvey video that I put up on my page yesterday, Financial Health Mentor, is powerful because he says most people are challenged with trying to skip the humble beginnings phase, right? I keep telling y'all guys, we can't despise humble beginnings. There was a time Walmart was a 5 and dime store, literally in a hole in the wall. It was a 5 and dime store in a hole in the wall. Look at it now, 40 years, 50 years. Started from humble beginnings. So Steve Harvey was just talking about the 10 by 10. Stop looking at, yes, I got on my board right here, $2,739.72. What does that mean? That's the amount of money that I need to make each and every day to be $1 million a year earning family. That is the goal. But I know that I can't start trying to make that right now. So what he said is, you take whatever skill that God has blessed you with. I promise each one of you guys can do something so well that somebody will be willing to pay you to do it for them. They're willing to pay you to show them how to do it. They're willing to buy some services, some products from you to help them do it better. And he said, all you have to do is figure out how to make $10 on your own. Why is that important? Why it's just $10? Because if you can make $10, then you can get so good at making $10 that you can scale that up and do it 10 times that, and then you can make $100. Right? And if you can make $100, then you can multiply your efforts by 10 and make $1,000. And if you can make $1,000, then you can multiply your efforts by 10 and make $10,000. And if you keep multiplying your efforts by 10 as you get better, as you bring more and more information in so you can get better outputs, then you can make $100,000. Then you multiply your efforts by 10 and then you make $1 million. But most of us don't want to start out making $10. Most of us don't want to start out making $10, and that's the problem. Whatever you can do right now, I promise you, each one of you guys, if you thought long and hard enough, you can do something with that can earn you $10 at a time. And then you just think about, okay, how can I scale it so that it makes $100? How can I scale it so it makes me $1,000? How can I scale it so it makes me $10,000? How can I scale it so it makes me $100,000? How can I scale it so that it makes me $1 million? But you got to start with those humble beginnings, man, and go through the things that you have to go through to get what you want, guys. Point blank, period. That's it. Right. I remember that Walmart store in Arkansas. Yeah, it was a 5 and dime store, right, Josiah? It wasn't this huge deal that it is now. You know, Microsoft started in somebody's garage. Damon John literally took his furniture out of his mama's house and burned it in the backyard. Because when he got the money that he needed after refinancing his mama's house, he brought in a bunch of people that sold the clothes, but he didn't have a facility. So he had to move everything out of the living room. He took the furniture out in the backyard and set it on fire. Started right there in his mama's living room. Humble beginnings, guys. Humble beginnings. Yep, it was a Sam's Club back then. Little 5 and dime store. And we're not talking about $5 and $10. We talking about 5 and dime, nickel and dime, 5 and 10 cents. Right? So don't despise humble beginnings, guys. I had something else on my mind. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out. We've done almost an hour this morning. Guys, I so appreciate you guys. I appreciate the comments, the questions. You guys know that if you've been commenting, I will always go back through the comments when I pull the phone off the stands. And he said it's still there. He said the little 5 and dime store is still there. Right. because they don't ever want to forget their humble beginnings. They don't want to ever forget their humble beginnings, because that keeps them moving forward. That motivates, that inspires. But we don't want to start a business if it can't be the way Walmart is today. And that ain't how this thing works, man. Morning, Angela. You coming in at the tail end, Angela, so go watch it from the beginning. We just did a recap and live Q&A. Angela McCoy, if you're not familiar with her, powerful leader in the financial education space, really doing big things out of the ATL. Can't wait to hook up with you in a couple weeks. Angela will definitely be in Atlanta, guys. If you want to do a meet and greet with the Financial Health Mentor, the 14th, 15th, and 16th of October, I will be in Atlanta. If that's something that interests you, and maybe you want to do some, I'm watching the replay too. Yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, and maybe you want to sit down with me and talk to me personally about my Financial Success membership, then you can do that in Atlanta the 14th, 15th, and 16th. I do have an itinerary that I have to keep pretty tightly, but I'm actually going to put an event on my Facebook page here in a few and let you know where I'll be. And if you guys want to get some meet and greet time in, we certainly can do that. But today's episode is brought to you by Financial National Credit Educational Services. If you're in the need of credit restoration because you understand now how to use credit, not personally to buy junk, but how to use credit business-wise to buy assets, and you need credit restoration, then shoot me an inbox. I can get you the link to the National Credit Educational Services, and we will get you plugged in. $350, guys. They will restore your credit, boost your credit score 50, 60 points, and create an ongoing relationship with you where they will educate you on how to maintain and keep that score trending upwards. And then once you get that score up, say, H. Cortez, you said I can leverage credit to build a business. How do I do that? I can leverage credit to buy income producing assets. How do I do that? And I'm going to say, get my Financial Success membership, and then we'll talk. We'll run on how you can take that credit, leverage it through business, and start buying income producing assets. So I'm your main man, H. Cortez, Financial Health Mentor to the working class. I appreciate you guys coming out. Until I talk to you in the next video, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.